what you gon' be? And do you believe we can do anything? And what you gon' do for it? How you gon' move for it? What you gon' be?
Welcome back to Off-Road Touring. In this one here, we're going to run through everything that our current setup has, things that we do and don't like, and the plans for the vehicle as well. Anyways, we're camping down south at the moment near Warwick. That's why we're wearing jumpers and it's bloody cold. Let's get into it. First thing is, well, let's go with awning. So we used to have a hardcore awning on here, but now we're running the Bushwhacker awning. The reason for the change is this fabric is a bit more thicker and we picked it up cheap off Marketplace. Otherwise, the build frame and everything to the hardcore is exactly the same. So both bloody awesome awnings. The only major difference, I guess, is I had wired up 4 lights into the hardcore one, and this model only has the 2 middle lights, so we do miss the full lighting. Otherwise, it's a freestanding awning. First thing we pop out pretty much anywhere we go. Bloody awesome. Something a little bit smaller is we have this awning organizer from Bushwhacker as well, so it just slides into the awning channel up there. That keeps a lot of stuff off the tables. So yeah, I forgot we had that in the car and we've just been using it pretty much as of this trip, but we're going to be using that in pretty much almost all trips coming up. All right, so the next thing is the Dune 140 soft shell rooftop tent. So this thing has been perfect for the money we spent. We picked it up for $600 secondhand off Marketplace quite a while back. It is bad because we can't mount anything on top being a soft shell, also meaning we have a cover that we have to store when we take it off. I've just put that in the driver's seat so I'm not storing it on the ground or anything and getting dirty and bugs and that sort of stuff overnight. Because of the size of it and the width, and you have to wrap the cover around the actual frame, it means we have to put a gap between the awning and the rooftop tent for our hands to get through, put clips and that sort of stuff. So that's difficult. It means the awning sticks out wider as well. The other thing is in winter, trying to do up every single clip, you have to pull the straps tight and then tuck in the straps so they don't flap in the wind when you drive. That is very annoying. Although this rooftop tent has done this bloody awesome in the past, we've always been wanting to switch to a hard shell rooftop tent, you know, just for convenience of mounting solar panels on the roof to keep our batteries topped up, to just the way it clips and pops open rather than have a cover, and the way it mounts up as well, things can be a little bit more tucked in. Although this rooftop tent has served us really well in the past, we have been wanting to upgrade to a hard shell rooftop tent for a long time, mainly for the convenience of having solar panels mounted up, switches built in, lights built in, and the way it mounts, you can tuck the awning up a lot closer, just for a few things like that. Anyways, we did see that George 4x4 Recovery Gear have released new rooftop tents. We have one coming on the way. We went down to Acacia Ridge at his showroom and checked out the one he has on his Defender. Super happy with it. You know, it has lights, switches, all that sort of stuff that we were after. So we've got one coming on the way. If you are wanting to grab your own or any gear on their website, use code OFFTOUR10 for a sweet 10% discount. However, note that we cannot recommend his rooftop tents to you just yet because we haven't got real life experience running and using it. We have got that coming in a few weeks. When we get the rooftop tent, we'll run it, test it, provide our feedback on our socials or on here, so keep an eye out for that. Coming over here, we have our shower tent. So this is, you know, pretty basic. With it, we have a kick-ass portable shower head. The only annoying thing about this is it's awkward to hook up and mount, and it's portable, has battery, so been super convenient and super easy. Now just to some pretty basic stuff. So, you know, we've got some Wanderer camp chairs. We've just got a lifetime table from Bunnings. We've got a Coleman Hyper Flame stove, double burner. So this thing is awesome. The way the flames come out, can't get blown out by wind and that sort of stuff. So that's pretty bloody awesome. Just with a small little gas bottle. And we've also just got, you know, your normal jerry cans. So we've got 3 sort of jerry cans, which is about 60 litres of water that we run for big trips, which is enough. All right, let's talk about the engine bay now. So it is pretty you know, bone stock, but it's got an almighty CED30 in this thing. Haven't got many upgrades. It's just got more preventative maintenance, so it's got, you know, Provent catch can. Did have a secondary battery in here, but I've now moved to lithium in the rear. It's got the 4-port death breather, only one's hooked up at the moment, the rest are up in the guards, which is pretty nice, but we'll fix that in a moment. And otherwise we do have a secondary fuel filter that we need to put in. Things that we want to change is we want to upgrade to a front mount intercooler, possibly put a bigger bonnet scoop on it. Everything like airbox and all that sort of stuff I've been happy with. Not sure if I'll change just yet. The only issue that we've had, so it's only just clocked over 150,000 Ks on this thing. But the only issue we've ran into is if you have a patrol, you may know about this common issue. The 2 front exhaust manifold studs had snapped and warped very recently, but that's all fixed. I put in the I think it's Iconal studs, no drama since, all the rest of it. So yeah, been super reliable so far. Now at the front of the vehicle, we've got a hardcore, I believe it's 55-inch light bar at the top. We've got two, I believe they're 9-inch spotties on the front. Been super awesome lights, super happy with them. We've got a Warn winch, I believe it's 8 pound. The solenoid on it is currently not working. We've had many issues with that, but the actual drum and everything's been awesome. I did rebuild it and everything when we first got it. We've got a George 4x4 winch rope on there. Don't remember the rating or anything. It's just got a factory hook under there as well. That hook has been bloody painful, the bulky size of it. So for that, we have actually got a George 4x4 G-Link Pro winch kind of hook or soft shackle hook to go on the front of it. So we'll pop that on once we fix the solenoid. Otherwise, we've just got the factory GU Patrol steel bar. This thing's been bloody awesome. The only thing I would change about it is maybe some clearance. Otherwise, it's been good. And we've also got a just an old UHF aerial on it, which I will change to GME one day. Also coming to the front of the vehicle, we've got some rated recovery points. I don't remember what brand they are, but the only issue we've had with these is this factory steel bar cuts off a bit of this hole, so getting hooks and all that sort of stuff in has been bloody awkward. Otherwise, we've got a adjustable Tough Dog steering dampener in there. We've got 2-inch King springs, and we've got 3-inch 9-stage adjustable shocks. That is all around on the vehicle. We've got some extended sway bar links down under there, front and rear, factory sway bars. We've also got some extended brake lines that are all braided. We've got extended diff breathers. Other than that, that's pretty much all the running gear that's changed. I'd like to get some bash plates. I'd like to change, maybe the Panhard rods, long arms, all that sort of stuff down the track, possibly. Other than that, it's been bloody super awesome. It flexes to where, I'd like it. We all sometimes like a bit more flex, but that's all right. It's got 33-inch Falcon Wild Peaks on it. I'd like to possibly upgrade to 35s one day. Otherwise, it's just got the factory GU Patrol rims on it. They're all right. I'd like the tyres to come out a bit wider, but otherwise, that's all right. All right, now on the side of the vehicle, we've got some just GU factory side steps. So these here have been hopeless. We've smashed them up and ripped out some of the brackets underneath and all that sort of stuff. So we will be upgrading to sliders down the track. I'm just not sure what brand yet. Now at the rear, we've got just a factory GU Patrol rear bumper. This one here has been very painful. We've smashed up heaps of times. It doesn't have much clearance. We've ripped out these tail lights many times. This one here, we finally ripped out and pulled all the cables off and that sort of stuff. So we have got a rear bar coming. It's going to have a dual jerry can holder and a tyre holder. Should hopefully be a bit higher clearance as well. So stay tuned to find out what one we end up with. The only things back here, it's got a reverse camera, been hopeless. Got some reverse lights. These no longer work because of water and they always get smashed up as well. It's got rear airbags in here as well. So there's just the inflators for that. It's got a George 4x4 rear recovery hitch. This thing's been awesome. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Now, let's talk about the interior. So in here, we've got a lot to kind of see. So the rear doors, they're pretty basic. I do want a drop-down table with some pockets and all that sort of stuff for more kitchen sort of idea. The GU Patrol's got a rear door extension on it as well, so allowing this to open up further, which has been awesome. Now in here we have, so you can see 2 XTM drawers, fridge, some electricals I'll get into in a moment. It's got this slot down the middle. So this here, the idea of this was, because this was going to be an empty void, I wanted to use the space. So the idea was to put the table that fits in there, although it does stick a bit higher and it doesn't go all the way back. So it's a bit of an awkward shape. It does fit all right, but it's just a bit awkward and could be a better use of space. I was thinking maybe about putting water with the tap there, but not too sure. Anyways, down the side here we've got big tool kit. We've got just heaps of random like ropes, the actual tow hitch and all those sorts of things. At the top you can see we've got a K-On rear shelf with a cargo battery as well. Super handy these have been. Easy to mount up, store so much gear up in there, and you can hook stuff on it, and yeah, super awesome, highly recommend. And then you've just got the fireplace that sits back there, and then we've got some other electricals down there I'll run through in a moment, and some other random stuff. Now in the drawers, so the top one we've just got just our kitchen sort of stuff. So these go in pretty far. The only thing I don't like is these walls don't actually come all the way up, so a bit of wasted kind of space, I guess. Otherwise, they've been all right. And then the bottom one is, you know, got tools, buckets, and all that sort of extra little stuff. So that's been heaps of storage for us. And the idea of this was to have all this sort of down low, and then have a lot of just void space that we could just throw camp chairs, throw firewood, you know, use that for pretty much anything, which has been, that idea of it has been working out really, really well. So super glad I did run with this setup. As you can see, we've recently got a Travel Buddy oven, so this is actually on at the moment. But yeah, we just have this sitting up here. It doesn't really move that much, and we usually have it filled around with stuff as well, so that's been all right. Now with the fridge, so it's just a King's 75 litre fridge from memory. I'll slide that out. So this fridge, for us, it's been super reliable. I've heard good and bad things about them. The slide has been bloody hopeless though, because at the back, it is hard to see, but it's just got two little metal tabs that stop it, and they just bend out all the time. So the slide does become terrible after time. Otherwise, the fridge itself has been bloody awesome. Pretty empty at the moment, but it's dual zone. So sometimes, you know, we'll have one side as a pantry, the other side as a fridge, or both fridge. Never really used freezer in it, but otherwise it's been bloody awesome. What I do want to change with this is get a different fridge slide, one that fits with the setup, and one that has a table that just goes underneath and then can slide out with the fridge slide as well. So that I do want. The other issue with the way this setup has been done is once there's a lot of weight on the top here, this here kind of bends down a lot. I did try building it with some really heavy duty brackets holding it up, but it's still kind of bent over time. And I think I cut this piece a little too short, which means that the wall goes in a little bit. But the only other thing is the bottom of this, the wood down there, it's all fully bolted in to the car, which has been super, super awesome and reliable. The only issue is kind of bent down slightly. So I do want to kind of fix that and change that down the track. I haven't carpeted the rear setup. The reason why I haven't carpeted it is because I knew I was going to change it down the track. This wasn't the final kind of setup. I wanted to test this, run it, and then go from there. So yeah, speaking of which, we will be changing the setup hopefully later in the year. So we've got some heaps of plans coming through for that. Now let's get on to the 12 volt setup. So back here, we have a 200 amp hour lithium Voltex battery I'll show in a moment. It's got a hardcore battery monitor, so that thing's been pretty handy. It's got a switch panel here. I just haven't put the stickers on because I was just finalizing the layout of where I want those. But otherwise I remember where everything is. And down here, so it's got two cigarette plugs at the moment. There was holes to put in more, but this here has been enough, and by the time you put all the cables in there, it all sticks out so far. And I did try recessing this panel in as far as possible, hoping that I'd have void space here to kind of put, you know, say phones and all that sort of stuff sitting in here, and the door could be closed so you could have things charging here while driving. However, that space has not been near enough, and once you have the cables and that sort of stuff, it's not enough. But you see a lot of panels where the ports are on the front of it that meet the door, which means you can't close the door and have things still plugged in. So that was the idea of that, but it's been okay, just not too great. Now up here we have just a I believe it's 600 inverter, so that's been all right. It's usually used for a laptop, and that's mainly it. We've got fan. Hard to see, but there's a fan on the side here which goes into the kind of custom built fuse box. So that's all fully custom built in there. It's got a Red Arc 40 amp DC to DC. Can't really remember what else is, but I'll chuck a photo up of kind of how I've built that and how I've put it in there. If I do need to pull it apart on the tracks, I can. And I'll try and show you the battery now as well. So you can sort of see it's a slimline battery that sits down in there. So that has been super, super reliable. It's in a nice tucked in space, and I built the fuse box to fit the same sort of size. And as I said, I'll throw up a picture so you can see that. But yeah, that fuse box, although it was custom built, a little bit, you know, worrying being in a four-wheel drive and that sort of stuff. But no, it was really good to do, and I'm glad I did it. And it's worked out super, super awesome. And I haven't had any issues since doing it. Now moving to the second row seats. So up here we've got on the KL barrier, we use this to mount just random stuff. We've got a snake bite kit and a first aid kit. So super awesome having those up. You can just kind of pull those off. On the back seats, we always chuck water and firewood, all that sort of stuff down here. Then we just chuck our bags and whatnot. But this has always been very awkward for us. You know, bags, when you're trying to access them, they're usually buried with stuff. And so the plans for this is to eventually build, I guess, sort of a flatbed, have water storage underneath, and then just kind of not sure what I want to do, but I've got plans for things where it's like going to be storage or that sort of stuff on either side. And it's only usually Grace and I that, go out in this vehicle. So yeah, we have got plans to kind of do that by the end of the year and change that whole rear setup, which super keen for. I cannot wait. Now on the driver's side of this rear setup, we've got just a King's dual thumper compressor there, so I will hard mount that into this spot. Super convenient spot, fits really well. And this bed or floor that I've built for the rear setup overhangs here, so I could have storage underneath all there. I did used to have recovery gear and all that sort of stuff squished under there, but it was so awkward to access. If one day we're bogged in a bog hole and you had to kind of pull heaps of stuff out and then pull up those chairs to access all the recovery gear. So that's been super awkward. But now we have moved to have all our recovery gear in a duffel bag from George 4x4. So I'll run through what kind of gear we run there. Now, speaking of recovery gear, I used to just have the Max Trax set of 4 just up on the back of this setup here. You can see they're not in the vehicle at the moment just because they're super awkward to carry. I want them on the external of the vehicle as well for when they get muddy and that sort of stuff. The idea is to maybe either have them on the rooftop tent or on the rear bar. Not too sure, but we'll figure that out once we've got all that on the vehicle. As for other gear, we've got bridle equalizer strap, we've got a kinetic snatch rope, we've got a bunch of soft shackles, we've got some winch rings, we've got a winch or snatch blanket as well. So yeah, this recovery gear is bloody awesome stuff. I highly recommend it. This is all from George 4x4. Yeah, super good gear. I've ran it for a while with their winch ropes and all that sort of stuff. So highly recommend it. As I said, if you are wanting to pick up any of your own, jump onto their website and use code OFFTOUR10 to grab a sweet 10% discount on any of their products. So as I said, highly recommend, so go check them out. Now moving into the front of the vehicle, so it's pretty factory in here. So the driver's door at the moment, the lock's actually screwed on it. I believe it's a common patrol issue as well, so I need to fix that, so I can't get in at the driver's door. So under here, we've just got it's hard to see, but there's an electronic brake controller. It's got a Torque throttle controller. It's pretty factory. I've got winch and spotties and light bar switches all here. I've got a winch safety and then a winch in and out switch, which is bloody awesome. We've got a GME UHF in here, so it's I can't remember the model of it, but it's all tucked back behind this panel, and it's just got a plug that goes into there with the handheld, and then that just magnetics up to there. Super awesome. We've just got an aftermarket head unit. I've got all speakers and all that sort of stuff from my old vehicle that's going to go in here soon as well. Otherwise, it's all pretty factory. The only thing I want to change mainly is get some gauges. I'm not sure what I want to run, whether I go like the JRP 14-in-1 or whether I go, the pillar pods, or not too sure yet. Otherwise, I kind of also want to change the center console a little bit. Not sure if we want to get a fridge console or what I want to do yet with it. And these cup holders, if you have a Patrol, you know how useless these things are. So I need to change this up. Otherwise, yeah, as I said, that's mainly it in here. Some extra things I might have forgot to mention is it's got a 3-inch Torque exhaust from the turbo back. It's from my brother's Patrol. When he had it, all the welds cracked and that sort of stuff, and it was not a great exhaust. Since, it's all been fixed up and all the welds redone, and yeah, it's been all right for us. It has been a little bit of quite a note than I would prefer. Otherwise, it's been fine. I was going to run 15mm spacers all round because when this fully flexes, these springs are loose in there. But even with the 15mm sitting in there at the moment, the springs still have room and move and that sort of stuff. So I've got 30mm that I'll chuck in there and then see how all that runs. Now, overall for this whole setup, the idea of it was to be sort of a tough tourer in a sense, have everything in the vehicle so you don't need a tow or anything like that, and have it so it's all a quick and easy setup. Some things have affected that, like, the tables are pull out, the rooftop tent is a pain to do constantly, just some small things like that. And I'm wanting to move up to 35-inch tires possibly down the track, but for legal reasons we haven't. Get some new rims as well, and same as the bull bar and sliders and that sort of stuff as well has been annoying not having, because I don't want to damage the vehicle more than what we kind of already have at some points. Otherwise, yeah, we've been super happy with this setup overall. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. So if you want to know more things, or you have any questions or anything about anything we've gone through, please reach out. Otherwise, yeah, comment down below, you know, what you recommend from your setups or that sort of stuff. I'd love to hear it, and I always love, you know, looking out for new ideas. So yeah, and don't forget, if you do want to any of George 4x4's gear, anything on their website, chuck in off to a 10 for a nice 10% discount. Anyways, we hope you've liked this one. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next off-road touring adventure.